Okay, so I can put this back up here. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you have pen and paper, because I'm going to explain to you something that you weren't aware of, but that you should be aware of. It will demonstrate the degree of propaganda and preparation that those who are bringing about the New World Order are engaged in order to prepare the public. And a good portion of it, ladies and gentlemen, is aimed directly at the children of the world. If you took your children to see The Lion King, you will be especially interested in tonight's broadcast. For tonight, I'm going to give you the true meaning of that movie, and I'm going to tell you exactly what was taught to your children, even though they may not realize it, even though they may not understand it at their tender age, and even though most of the parents in the world who have attended the showing of The Lion King had no idea whatsoever what it was that they were watching tonight. You're going to find out. And when you do find out, I can assure you, most of you will be angry. Walt Disney was a 33rd degree Freemason of the Scottish Rite. Disneyland in Anaheim, California, has an address of 1313 Anaheim Boulevard. Unless you understand the symbolic meaning of the mysteries and the symbology of Revenge of the Templars, you may not give too much importance to that address, but those of us who know do. Walt Disney was a very famous Anglophile who was in bed with the FBI and the intelligence community and spied for most of his life on his fellow movie makers in Hollywood. We know that in 1958, for 1 year, there was a colloquium of the greatest scientific minds in the United States, gathered over several meetings during that year to discuss the exploration and colonization of the moon and Mars. At every one of those meetings were representatives of the Walt Disney Studios. Now, you may not really understand what this is all about yet, but I can assure you, before tonight is over, you'll understand at least a part of it. I'm going to read some verses to you, ladies and gentlemen, from Genesis chapter 4. But the people who are bringing about the New World Order believe it, I can assure you. The opposing forces engaged in this battle all agree that they will have a one-world government. The only point of contention is which one of these opposing forces will sit upon the throne of the world. One believes that they are protecting and will hold forth a king, descended from the house of David and thus related directly by blood to Jesus Christ. He will hold the titles of the King of Jerusalem and Holy Roman Emperor. He will be a direct descendant of the Merovingian bloodline of the kings of France. One of the others is to believe to be the direct bloodline descendants of Cain. And they plan to seat their king upon the throne of the world. And then, of course, there is the Vatican, which I guarantee you will be one or the other of the first two when all the dust has settled. I read from chapter 4 of Genesis. I'm going to start in chapter 4, Genesis, verse 8. And Cain said unto Abel his brother, Let us go into the field. And it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother, and slew him. Then said Yahweh unto Cain, Where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. The keeper of my brother am I? And he said, What hast thou done? With a voice, The shed blood of thy brother is crying out to me from the ground. Now therefore accursed art thou from the ground, which hath opened her mouth to receive the shed blood of thy brother at thy hand. Though thou till the ground, it shall not go on to give its vigor to thee. A wanderer and a fugitive shalt thou be in the earth. And Cain said unto Yahweh, Greater is my punishment than I can bear. Lo, thou hast driven me out this day from off the face of the ground, and from thy face shall I be hid. So shall I become a wanderer and a fugitive in the earth, and it shall come to pass, whosoever findeth me will slay me. And Yahweh said to him, Not so. Whosoever slayeth Cain, sevenfold shall it be avenged. So Yahweh set for Cain a sign, that none finding him should smite him. So Cain went forth from the presence of Yahweh, and dwelt in the land of Nod, eastward of Eden. And that's where I stop at this portion. And according to the Bible, one of the direct descendants of Cain was a man named Nimrod. Nimrod, ladies and gentlemen, set up the first civilization, became the first king in what was known as the Golden Age. He built the Tower of Babel. He brought together all the different religions and melded them with politics. He was indeed the first king. He had a college in Babylon, for that was the city that he built. This college was the first lodge of what is now known as Freemasonry. Indeed, if you read the books written by prominent Freemasons throughout the history of Freemasonry, they refer to Nimrod as the first Grand Master of the first lodge, and that he loved Freemasons and had many hundred Freemasons under his rule. In Genesis chapter 49, verse 9, listen carefully as I quote, A lion's whelp is Judah. From the prey, my son, hast thou come up. He hath stooped, hath crouched as a lion, or as a lioness. Who shall rouse him? The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor the commander's staff from between his feet, until that he come in as a Shiloh, and his be the obedience of the peoples. Binding to the vine his ass, and to the choice vines his ass's colt. He hath washed in wine his raiment, and in the blood of grapes his mantle. Darker his eyes than wine, whiter his teeth than milk. And that is where I stop reading there.